don't really have much of an intro for this channel. I mean, maybe someday I will have an intro for it, maybe I won't, or maybe I'll just go straight into the topic slash subject of the video and just maybe just like talk about that, just to like keep it kind of blunt and short. But honestly, I don't really know, but I'm still working on the second channel of mine. I'm still trying to, you know, create and cultivate different things and just try different stuff and just see what sticks, or maybe I'll just post whatever I want. I don't really know, but this video, I know what I want to post, and I know what this video is about. Basically, if you watched my last video on my book collection, I spoke about at the end possibly doing a book analysis for some of the books in my collection. And I finally decided to do one because why the hell not? And the book I'm going to be doing an analysis on is this: The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Transform fear into faith. For this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my analysis of this book and basically how this book, The Universe Has Your Back, has helped me acknowledge my self-toxic personality towards myself and the way that I perceive the world around me and basically how I react to certain things. That's basically it. I think that's the best way that I can summarize that. I tried to like retake this I think like 2 times and I was trying to think of what to say, but I feel like that's pretty much it. I wrote down some notes yesterday. I got a whole bunch of post-its to keep me nice and organized. This may not come out exactly as planned, but you know, I'm just gonna give it my all and just see where it goes, you know? I don't have to be perfect to be great, so let's try it anyway. The first subject I want to talk about is pretty much fear. Obviously the bottom of it says, you know, transform fear into faith. And I feel like this book really helped me acknowledge and understand how my fear works, or maybe how fear for us humans just works in general. Obviously, fear is one of our, like us being scared and having fear is a natural emotion. It's just a part of human nature. But when you really dive deep into it, you really begin to analyze it more. And I feel like Gabrielle Bernstein really nailed it on this. And this is why. Basically, it talks about being addicted to fear. And I want you to think about it like this. When it comes to fear, the reason why we feel fear is because we feel like there is something that is threatening us and that could possibly put ourselves in danger. So we choose to stay away from it, you know? Whether it's emotionally in danger or physically in danger. Say for example, maybe for emotionally, maybe doing some public speaking, or maybe some like singing in public, and maybe more physical, maybe trying some physical activity or trying something else that you're not really comfortable with, and you have the thought in the back of your head that you're going to mess up or you're going to get hurt. I guess that's the best way that I can explain that. And when it comes to talking about fear in this book, it basically talks about us being addicted to it. And like I said before, the reason why we have fear in a way is to basically, you know, is to keep ourselves from being in harm's way and to protect ourselves from what we think can harm us, you know, in an attempt to keep us safe. But when you get too attached to fear, that is where the problem is. And this is where I've kind of messed up in a way. You see, when you become crazy, addicted to it, you're not really addicted to fear because you want to be scared. You're addicted to fear because you constantly want to feel secure and safe at all times. Because you're trying so hard to control maybe every single situation, or maybe not every single situation, but you're trying so hard to feel secure and to feel safe at all times that you constantly feel scared out of a reaction, so that way you can feel safe and not feel as if you're in any harm's way whatsoever. I feel like the book explains it a little bit better, but that's just me kind of paraphrasing and summarizing it through my perspective and my words, and it's kind of helped me understand that in a way. And I feel like I have a way to truly understand it and find a way to kind of, maybe not combat it, but kind of just maybe accept it in a way. And number one, it talks about acknowledging the fear. And as soon as I read, I think maybe the first 2 to 4 pages of this book, I'm like, oh, okay. So like sometimes if I'm afraid or if I'm like nervous to do something, I'm like, okay, I acknowledge that I am afraid because I feel the need to be secure at all times. At least that's how I see it. And I wrote this down, And a couple of things that I constantly feel the need to be in control of when it comes to fear are changes in my life and the future. I mean, look at me. I'm 18 years old, and the next freaking 5 days, I'm going to be going to some college orientation, and then the week after that, I'm going to be going for my first day of college, you know? Like, I'm nervous because I don't really want things to change, you know? Part of me is getting older, part of me is, you know, growing up now. I have these constant thoughts in the back of my head that I'm going to be, you know, having less time to do the stuff that I want to do, or like the fun hobbies that I have, and instead I'm going to be spending more time working. I'm going to be afraid of losing, like, I have these fears or these thoughts that I'm going to be afraid of pretty much losing the things that I love and that I care about, and just trying to move on in life, you know? Like, I'm afraid that I'm afraid of losing my friends and growing apart from them and never being able to talk to them again, you know? Stuff like that, you know? Like, that sits in the back of my head, you know? And those are just a few examples, honestly. And the truth is, I think I've kind of come to accept the fact that I have that fear and that I have, you know, that stuff going on, like, inside of me as a person. And I feel like, actually, yeah, I feel like I'm kind of beginning to accept it. And then there's also another thing. I'm not sure if I found this within the book, but I think by reading this, I think it may have said this or may have not, but I believe that at the end of the day, I'm not really afraid of the fear itself when I think about it. I'm more afraid of the thought, you know? The reason why I'm feeling sometimes anxiety or nervousness and just feeling scared, it's not really because of it happening. If it happens, it happens, you know? I'm not really going to feel afraid or nervous when it happens, you know? It's more like I'm giving too much attachment to a thought, and the more that I hold on to that thought, the more the fear begins to grow and linger within me, which is still something that I go through to this very day. I can't say that I have it 100% figured out. Honestly, I'm not sure if I ever really will. But I feel like me trying to understand it more and acknowledge the thoughts and the fear that comes with it, I think that is probably the best way for me to handle it. Yet again, I'm not some psychologist or some doctor or anything. I'm just an 18-year-old boy. I'm just freaking just showing my perspective and my perspective on things in life. So don't take this for, you know, personal medical help or anything. And I was watching this one Netflix show, and I'm going to give them credit for this because this actually will stick with me for the rest of my life. There was this quote in the final episode of Season 3, Episode 10. This is not a spoiler, it's just a quote. And I got it from where it said, "When you lock yourself into a dream of what your life should be, you limit yourself." You know, you get so caught up in you know, like I'm getting so caught up with trying to control this and trying to control that out of the constant need to feel secure and to feel better about myself. But in reality, I'm kind of hurting myself in the end. And I'm kind of beginning to realize that now. You know, it's a perspective and it's a mindset that I'm still trying to figure out. But I feel like that quote from Never Have I Ever and like reading this book has really begun to change my perspective in a way. It's still something I'm still trying to work on and improve on a little bit, but I feel like I'm able to interpret and to understand my fears and my thoughts now to the point where I understand where it's coming from, why it's there, and basically just realize that there really is no, you know, perfect path in life. You know, like, I'm here now, I'm all healthy and everything, but, you know, I mean, something could happen in the future, and, you know, sometimes the fear of the future gets locked into my head, but, you know, I've acknowledged it, and I'm willing to accept that for what it is, and I think I'm at the point where whatever happens, happens, and I think I'm okay with that. I'm still working on it, but I think that's something I'm beginning to accept a little bit more. I feel like I've begun to detach myself from this a lot more, and I'm glad that I'm doing that. Because, let's be honest, you know, it's all kind of a hoax in a way. It's kind of just all like a bunch of lies, or not lies, but maybe just, you know, you think it's something like really like amazing and special, and the people are living these perfect lives, but in reality, it's never really been the case, and it's never going to be the case at all. I mean social media. I'm talking YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that shit, you know, and Twitter and all that stuff. You know, like I really have begun to realize that, you know, I would always have, like, honestly, when it came to me in social media, I really began to put pressure on myself to constantly improve and do better. You know, whether it's a hobby that I like, whether it's, you know, some other thing with like me and like my mental health and stuff, and to some extent me trying to improve myself and better myself as a person is a great thing. You know, there's always room for improvement, you know, but to the point where you're constantly trying to get that, and if you're constantly attaching yourself to improvement and letting that define you for who you are, that's where it gets toxic, you know? I would see people who are smiling and are happy. Me, typically, I'm a skateboarder. Like, I watch people skate, I'm thinking, oh wow, you know? I gotta work hard. I gotta get like them, you know? I would tell myself stuff like that. And then when it's difficult and I'm struggling, you know, I see other people doing all this really cool and amazing stuff, I would keep putting this mentality into my head that, you know, I'm not good enough, you know, I'm not trying hard enough, I'm always doing something wrong. And those thoughts that I just told you guys, that still lingers in my head today. Maybe a little bit less, but it's still there, you know? I've also kind of learned to detach myself from likes and followers and views and stuff. Like likes and followers and views, subscribers, you know, at the end of the day, I really am beginning to realize it's just a number, you know? At the end of the day, it really is just a number, you know? It's not really going to make me any better of a person, and if I try to rely on outside factors to make myself happy, that's where it's not really going to, you know, make anything better, you know? This book talks about happiness, like true happiness coming from within. And if I'm being honest with you, I stand by that completely. I feel like there are honestly some outside factors that can contribute to your happiness in a way, depending on how you use it and interpret it. But I also do feel like to some extent, you know, happiness truly does have to come from within. You know, no amount of, you know, likes or followers or subscribers or drugs or any of that stuff is really going to make us happy in the end, you know? It's only just going to be making this hole and just going to like stress you out, and it's going to make you feel less about yourself and make you feel like, you know, you're not doing good enough. And honestly, I got this thing from Gary Vee because I watch his content on his YouTube channel, and he had some post where it was like, you know, trying to make content that you love and trying to make content that satisfies your fucking soul. I guess that's, I can't really say I can quote that, but I know he used the F word, and I know that he basically said it like that, so yeah, that's basically what he said, you know, to make content that you enjoy, to where, you know, you don't care about the likes or the followers or any of that shit, you know? And I feel like I've finally given that a really, really good try. And I have a perfect example for this. I have this idea on my skateboarding channel called Skateboarding and Me for 6 years. It's basically almost a half an hour long video of me talking into the camera about trying to, you know, grow and progress not only as a skateboarder but also as a human being. And if I'm being honest with you, as I finished the video and I uploaded it, like hours after that, I thought it was the worst freaking idea I ever had. You know, I kept thinking to myself, oh, this is too long. Nobody wants to hear me talk into the camera for 28 minutes long. Nobody wants to hear that. Oh, it's not going to get any likes or followers or any of that shit. But then I remember what Gary Vee said, to make content that you love and that you enjoy and for your fucking soul. And I remembered that. And then I began to ask myself, you know, I made this video because I wanted to. You know, at back in my head, I kept thinking maybe it would do good on my channel and maybe it could like light some spark or get some traction. But at the end of the day, I was honestly pretty satisfied with it. You know, I was really trying to branch out and trying not to copy what other people were doing. And I'm not going to call people out and say that they're unoriginal, because believe me, I've made plenty of videos throughout my time that are very unoriginal. So I'm going to call myself out on that. That's my accountability. Part of me kept, you know, telling myself that, you know, it was too long and it was too dragged out. But, you know, that's just me being my honest and authentic self, you know? And if I were to trim so many portions of the video and just keep it blunt and short, that wouldn't be me being me. That's just me building some false or fake reputation for the camera. And that's just gonna lead to just straight up unhappiness. You know? Like, I've seen a lot of people who've built up this fake reputation for social media and then end up trying to, you know, be honest and authentic later on, and then it just completely backfires. And I'm not going to give any specific examples because I just don't feel the need to put them on the spot like that, you know? That's just not right to do. But, you know, I kept all of that footage in. Maybe I trimmed out a few parts where I was kind of like talking and being, I guess like repetitive, but you know, I stayed honest and true and genuine to myself, you know, and I liked it, you know, despite me talking for so long. I'm like, hey, I might as well try and freaking be myself. No matter how hard I fucking try, people are always gonna freaking judge me, so I might as well freaking do what the fuck I love. And yeah, later that day, I told myself that I'm not gonna let that shit get me down, you know. I have a whole beautiful day ahead of me, and I'll just simply just enjoy myself and just have fun. And I told myself that whatever happens, happens. I'm glad that I was willing to give it my all and to try my best. Later on that day, the video actually began to gain some traction. It's gotten like hundreds of views, I think about 35 likes, and I got some new people who I've never even seen in my comment section commenting on my video. You know, I got maybe like 10 to like 15 subscribers from it, I think, and I got a good amount of views and likes and followers and stuff, and you know, I was kind of proud of that. Honestly, for a little bit, I was actually kind of happy, you know, and I don't think it was because of the likes or the followers. I mean, I think it kind of was because, you know, I felt the need to celebrate and acknowledge the fact that, you know, I made a piece of content and I made a video, I put it out there and people liked it. But I think it's just the fact that, like, you know, I was able to shift my perspective and realize, like, hey, you know, this is me being me. And I vibed with it, and clearly other people vibe with it too, you know? And I'm honestly happy about that, you know? It's good to celebrate the little wins here and there, you know? Like, I don't want to get crazy attached to likes and views and the numbers and shit, like I've said like 3 to 5 times already, but I was kind of glad that I was able to be my honest and authentic self on camera and then just, you know, have it get some traction on YouTube, you know? I'm not trying to go for the algorithm or anything, you know? It'd be nice to get some traction and to try and get a bigger audience, and honestly, I'm all for that, but I'm not gonna be willing to get crazy obsessed and crazy over that stuff, you know? At the end of the day, it doesn't really make me any better or more popular or anything, you know? I'm still a human being just like everybody else. There's another part in the book where it was talking about how my projection determines my perception. And this is where the video comes in, you know? At first, I was telling myself, oh, it's a bad idea, oh, it's not gonna work, I wasted my time for a week, oh, I should quit YouTube, I should take a break, I should probably just like stop filming videos and uploading in general, shit like that, you know? And because I had those thoughts, and I had that projection in my mind, I had that story that kept playing over and over again that it was going to fail, nothing happened to the video. It barely got any traction, barely anybody freaking watched it, and I'm like, shit, well, I guess I really fucked this up. I guess I'm probably just gonna have to give up now. But then, later on throughout the day, I told myself I wasn't gonna let it get me down. I was going to try and do my best and make it work, and that I'm like, hey, you know, I tried my best, and I chose to stay true to myself. And that's all that really matters, you know? And then eventually, because I was proud of that video that I made, and I was actually kind of happy about it, other people seemed to be happy about it too. You know, I was able to emotionally move people and inspire people, you know? Like, that's honestly kind of like my purpose here on YouTube and stuff. And, you know, I went from hating it and had like little to no traction at all to then liking it and loving it. And then people began to like it and love it too. Because my projection determines my perception, which is basically what the book said, or at least that's how I'm paraphrasing it, you know? I was able to change that, you know? Instead of playing that same old story in my head over and over and over that it was gonna be a failure, oh, I messed it up, it was a horrible idea, I should never do it again, I began to realize that, you know, I stayed true to myself, It worked, you know, I stayed true to myself, I did what I wanted to do, and I'm proud of that, you know? And other people began to vibe with that honesty and that authenticity and just me being myself. And it fucking worked. Like, that's crazy, you know? Like, I really began to realize that, like, throughout the day. Like, after things, like, I really began to realize that throughout the day as it began to get some traction. I'm like, you know, I'm proud of myself. Alright, and now for the final thing. Dealing with my anger. You know, honestly, I can say that I do have a temper. I don't get mad all the time, but I do find myself sometimes easily irritated and sometimes sensitive to even just the littlest things, which is a habit I'm still trying to work out. I'm not a perfect person. And I guess I'm a good example. I wasn't really going to be talking about skateboarding this much on my channel, but this is a pretty good example, so I'm just going to put it anyway. I was trying this trick on my board. It's called a backside kickflip. I was trying it for a bit, and it just wasn't working, you know? And one of the things that makes me mad the most is when I'm trying something for so long that I know that I can literally do so easily, if not really good, but yet it takes me forever just to get it right, you know? Like, that pisses me off the most, and I think I probably got that from some other guy. What was his name? Dale Decker. So, yeah, I honestly agree with that. He said that. I'm basically just kind of just paraphrasing what he said, so shout out to him. And, you know, I remember, I think I was maybe using some tips from the book, you know? I think I sat down for a bit, or maybe I took a few deep breaths, and tried to just simply just take a break and just realize, okay, I'm pissed off, I'm angry right now. Let me acknowledge that, see where the rage is coming from, and then just simply choose how to handle it from here on out. This is still something I have to work on, and this is not something I've practiced, and this isn't something, and this is something I haven't practiced that much in a while. So yeah, I'll hold myself accountable for that. Still working on it. And, you know, I said this thing, and I wasn't able to find it inside the book, but I know that Gabrielle Bernstein said this. It says to basically thank the universe for allowing me to find joy in this situation and let the universe lead the way. And I guess I'm going to talk more about the universe later on, but basically just, you know, trying to find the joy in the situation and just trying to make it work, you know. I said, thank you, universe, for allowing me to find joy in this situation. I let you lead the way, or I allow you to lead the way for me. And I took a deep breath, I tried it again, and then I landed it. You know, it's really freaking funny how that shit works, you know. I calmed myself down, I acknowledged the anger, and I was able to get something good out of it, you know? And then I landed, and I'm like, holy shit, like, that actually works. And I was actually pretty happy after that. I guess maybe I wasn't crazy happy, but I was like, wow, that really does work, you know? And I honestly found that really, really amazing, you know? How I was willing to try and turn the tides of the situation and just try to get a better outcome from it, from trying to just handle it differently, you know? I need to practice that a little bit more, but the one time that I did practice that, it did work, so I think I might keep trying it. When it comes to this whole thing with putting my faith in the universe, I still am kind of sketchy about it, because part of me feels like, there's like 7 billion people, or approximately 7 billion people on this planet. Maybe that population or that number is outdated. I might put it somewhere in the video where I'm showing the approximate number, but you know, I feel like what I do now could not only affect myself, but then also just affect others, you know? Sometimes, like, I'm trying to believe that, like, you know, maybe this so-called, like, law or force of attraction or something like that is trying to, you know, like, give me signs and try to, like, point me in, like, the right direction. But then part of me also feels as if, you know, us humans, we kind of control our future a good amount, you know, like our future as a person, but then also the lives of everybody around us, you know. And this book also talks about meditating, and I tried it the one time to calm down my anxiety. It worked maybe for like 30 minutes, and then it just went back up again. Yeah, I can't really say this book really helps me with everything, and I think I'm okay with that, you know. I think it was able to change my perspective, and I was able to see things a little bit more clearly and a little bit more differently, and I'm kind of glad that I was able to, you know, pick up this book. And I want to say thank you to another content creator, George Poulos. I've been watching his content for a while, and and on one of his channels, he spoke about this book, and the way that he spoke about it really inspired me to get it and to read it, and I don't regret it, and honestly, I have no regrets. I really liked reading this book. It was interesting, it was really, really entertaining to me, and I was able to shift my perspective. The camera cut out there and it stopped recording, but like I was saying, I'm really glad that I picked up this book thanks to George Poulos. It may not help me with everything that I want in my life. I mean, obviously, you know, obviously, at the end of the day, how I choose to handle my problems is honestly up to me, but I am glad that I was able to pick up this book because somebody else read it and they spoke about it, and I was able to basically see myself and the world a little bit differently. And I'm really glad that I did that. And yeah, if you guys want to pick up this book, I highly recommend it, like I've basically been saying, I guess, the whole entire video. And yeah, I'm done. I'm glad I made this video. You know, it's not exactly how I planned it to come out, but I'm glad that I was able to talk about this, and I'm gonna be very, very happy. Honestly, I'm gonna be very, very happy making this video and editing it and just turning it into something beautiful. And I hope this video was able to give you a change of perspective on your life, or in certain ways that you see things, and I just hope this video just inspires you in general. I really wish I knew what to say. I guess I have this outro I say for my other channel, and I'm just going to say it now. I basically say I'm going to enjoy my life, and I encourage you guys to do the same. And yeah, love you guys. Peace out.